Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today I'm going to be talking about One Punch Man World, the kind of the state that it's in. Like what? Honestly, I think that One Punch Man World is taking a direction I don't like, and let me be very particular about this direction and why it seems to be such a big problem for me and for a lot of other people. Mostly just having to do with the changes they have made to the game, from the will chip system and everything else like that. See, will chips changed, and so did the way that memory chips work too. Now, I could probably explain this best using the encyclopedia, because as you can see, one, doing these commissions makes no sense to a lot of people, and there's a lot of confusion around why these commissions cost so much stamina and why they're pushing the ticket system. Now, I get what they're going for here, but I think that you should still be able to afford to do these commissions with maybe even a smaller amount of stamina. Maybe like, because this is supposed to be a rare commodity. Getting multiples like this is supposed to be rare. This doesn't feel rare. This feels too abundant almost. And you could spend and try to get some more energy and stuff like that, or you could do a team up. But a team up for one of these is going to cost you 10 team up tickets, and it's like that's a lot. Uh, a lot of team up tickets for no reason. I don't like it in particular. But it's not just that kind of bothers me. It's also the way that they're dealing with the will chips. Now, if you guys have not paid attention to the will chips and what they kind of show off, you'll notice that the stats on these will chips, only the main stats are really going up. Substats are low key staying low. But the main stats are the ones who made a major jump from 600 damage to 2,000 damage to even above that. But the only thing is that we're also not getting anything any more like a fiction, affix based things. So if you pay attention to the Monster Encyclopedia, let's talk about like these. There's a lot of just impassioned, and then you go to this guy, tier 17. It's like no impassioned, just basic. Uh, the chances will change dependently on what you're farming, and that's just kind of how it's been. Since this one is just impassioned and then just memory chip bonus, the way that this looks doesn't make any sense to me. Because if you look at the way Battle Tier 16 used to work, you used to go for Mind Reader, Penetrating Eye. These are very important. This is why you farm these bosses. Now we go to Tier 17, which you need in order to actually like continue the game. For instance, for anybody who wants to continue the game from tier 16 to tier 17, finish off the whole campaign, it's not hard to do. Just only get Crablante and just spam farm them until you get like tier 17 chips, and move on from there. Just kind of let that be your main your farm, because either way, all these tier 17 chips are exactly the same chip, except some of them, they all have impassioned, which is really weird. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it so much is because there's no way to farm for builds, appropriate builds, which it really, really sucks. Because that's the reason you would go to these specific bosses, is so you'd be able to get like your crit builds, you'd be able to get your breaker builds done. But right now, they're not giving us the opportunity at all to do this. And I think the devs need to take a look at this and be like, oh, what's going on? This doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Because this doesn't make any sense. This jump to tier 17 doesn't do anything but boost your character's attack. And the other thing I want to talk about is, what does this mean for a lot of other characters? What other changes were made in order to make these characters, obviously more farmable, resource adding, and all that stuff? Yes, but the other problem that I'm coming across is the fact that SSR characters are getting a lot more love than SR
私の
characters, and
恨
this
みを
is really, really
俺
bad
が晴ら
because
す
SSR characters got a baseline stat boost across the board. They were pretty weak in the past, but uh, it just depended, because you'd get mad because how come Puri Puri Prisoner is doing as much damage or even less as someone like SR
もっと
Genos.
強く
And
ならな
yes,
けれ
this
ば
made sense,
傷つい
but
た男子の恨みは
because they had
俺
different
が
roles
晴
and
ら
they have
す
different setups and they have different types of builds, and the reason you would get these characters to potential 6 is to make sure that these characters are doing the, their bonus attack damage and stuff like that. But now they're getting baseline stat buffs, and the way that they're tackling this is making these challenges to get to these higher level areas almost too strong and way too dang tanky, which I have tons of like gameplay on and stuff like that already. But honestly, these urgent threats are just a little too tanky, and it doesn't make any sense why they're so tanky. They're ridiculous. I haven't continued like the farming that yet because I want to obviously record it or stream it for you guys. There's been a storm lately, so I can't really do that. But yeah, that's just one thing I really have not liked. Besides that, though, stuff like the different events, obviously, like this one and your dailies, they feel good, but they also feel lackluster at the same time. I'm guessing it's because they want you to focus more on events, the welcome back rewards, stuff like that. But it doesn't make much sense to me why there's not more of an abundance of stuff to boost your older characters to get further into the game. For instance, like, you're going to need to use all these characters. You're going to need to use Golden Ball. You're going to need to use these guys because these specific builds, these specific characters, they're going to be very useful in the long run, and this is why you need to focus on building them all up. But with the will chips and the, the memory chips the way they are, we're not going to be able to build specific builds. It's too RNG based. And keep in mind, right? Like, stay with me here on this. Freaking, the reason why this is such a bad problem is because there's already enough RNG in the game to stop you from making perfect builds. I'm gonna show you guys a great example. So let's say I need this piece. I'm gonna use. Actually, let me show you guys what making a build kind of looks like. So let's go to iron. Plus, the other thing is obviously the will chips having their own freaking thing. The super critical, not even being able to get that on like this is really, really bad. But obviously, I'm going to need to get the new attack stuff. I need Impassioned and I need Mind Reader. And I need attack. Like, this is a really good attack one. Now, let me do this appropriately, the way that you're supposed to like farm with this. And also, they kind of just added the stuff that was already supposed to be in the game and kind of pushed it as new content, such as the Orange Essence. Now, this stuff, ever since this update came out, this stuff is just garbage. Actually garbage. There's limitations to what you can and cannot do in this game already, such as what your substats and main stats are going to look like. So let's go ahead and take a look. It's a lot of money, by the way. All right, so we got attack, we got defense, we got overpowered attack, but we got two really, really bad affixes, right? And one thing that just doesn't work for this character. And now you look at this and you're like, huh, how am I gonna get my crit? Like, how am I gonna get my impassioned? How am I gonna guarantee this stuff? Now the problem is you can't anymore throughout tier 17 and above. Tier 17, whatever they planned on doing with it, they need to fix it immediately, because there's no way in hell we're going to be able to farm appropriately without way too much RNG being in the game. Like, RNG is being a real big threat right now. And I'm going to show you guys my memory chips and my will chips real quick. So these are some that I picked up, some of the tier 17s. Even doing the 50 times commissions don't guarantee you a lot. So this is the one I just made. This is another one that I got from one of the new things. Exquisite Defense and Knight's Fist. Now, neither of these are useful to me. This one's Tenacity and Resolute Rage. This is an old one. Then there's this one, which is one of the newer ones too, tier 17. This one has Resolute Defense, River Trail, Morale, Composure. This is good if I was going to use it on a composure-breaking character, but now I can't guarantee Breaker on this beautiful like chip. I can't guarantee Breaker because I need Breaker. I would have to reforge both of these really, but you only can reforge one in the game. So I'm here like doing this. I'm just gonna have to load Steadfast, reforge it again, and then reforges get significantly more expensive. And as you see, now I'm just low key in that direction of wasting too much money. There, I have to stop at Raid Break right here. And this is now a beautiful piece for a Raid Break morale character, but I'm still missing one more thing. Now, what would save that, and what the system was to save that, was the ability to use your like Monster Encyclopedia and really get the appropriate pieces, but they don't exist anymore. Like these memory bonus outputs don't exist. Look at how cheap this is, man. Freaking 3% bonus. That's it. A 3% bonus. This one's 20% on two characters I don't care about. There's like tons of them that just don't make any sense. And since these don't make any sense, this is just really, really bad for future players who want to get into like tier 17 because you have to get these chips. You have to get tier 17 builds in order to progress in the next storyline that they drop City J and all that stuff. Like this needs to happen. But now that we can't do this, this is a big problem. Look at how it used to be. This is tier 15. You used to go for like mind reader and stuff like that, very useful. And then let's say you wanted to just go for crappy character ones, then you'd do the rate up on this one. But this is like something you don't even do. Like these you don't farm because this is useless to you, compared to just farming something like Vaccine Man, where you get Penetrating Eye, Octoclaw. You over here, you know, I'm just not going to farm that. Tank tops, go over here, not going to farm that. Tier 15s that matter, tier 15s that don't matter. Uh, but look, dude, you get 20% on these out of all things, and it's really, really stupid. Maybe the further we get in, the better the stuff, but you're wasting a lot of valuable resources and time if you cannot farm a perfect tier 17 build or even close to getting a good tier 17 build. And you need the higher stats in order to progress in the game. Like, you just can't diss this. All right. That was pretty much it for me. There's a little rant. The game's in a really bad state because of this future farming predicament. Like, you're going to be wasting too many resources. You're not going to get enough stuff. It's really, really bad. Um, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. Take it easy and peace.